Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of KepTalk. As you can see, I have another beautiful guest with me. I feel like, beautiful guests back to back to back to back. But before we get into why my lovely guest is here, I want to thank everyone for the support that I received on my last video. The support was overwhelming, and I'm so grateful. I did announce in the last video that I am putting together a conference, and yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and more information to come on that. Planning has started. But I do know that it's going to be in January because that is my birth month, and it is going to be an amazing event. You do not want to miss it. Like I said, more details to come. I'm excited. I'm so excited to have my wonderful guest. I'm excited for just the way God has been showing up and showing off in my life, especially these last few weeks. I know also on this platform I have talked about camp. I know Lara, she's very familiar with camp. But I've talked about camp and how my husband and I, we are directors of a youth camp that we do every summer, and we just completed that, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And it was an amazing experience. I mean, we met different personalities for sure, of different kids, but it was a rewarding experience. And to be honest with you, some days I wake up and I'm like, I wish we can go back. But next year, we will be back bigger and better. Anyways, on to the topic of today. So I have a guest, like I've said 1,000 times, and I'm going to have her introduce herself, introduce this beautiful girl, and then we'll get into the topic of today, which I know is going to really resonate with a lot of people. So, over to you.
Hey everybody, my name is Omalara or Lara. I'm 25, about to be 26 in a few months. I'm a second year medical student now, officially.
Put some respect
on my name. And going into medicine, and I'm just on that journey.
Yeah, you might recognize her from a video that I did, I want to say last year. Yeah, last year with two other females, and we talked about friendship. And, well, I'll just mention this. I do want to do another video with the three of you guys again, to kind of get an update as to where this friendship is, some lessons that you guys have learned. So that should be a really interesting video to record.
Because I know updates.
Yeah, oh yeah. We do. I know that you guys have been growing together and also growing individually, which is important. But that's not why she's here. She's here because we are going to talk about how to approach change in life, right? All of us go through different changes. Some of us, we might change our wigs. I change my wigs often, Some of us change, physically. Our weight goes up, our weight goes down. Some people, change mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so I want to sit down with Lara and talk to her about just change, how to approach it, the attitude that we should have when we do experience change. I know for me, I hate change. I do not like it. I like to know exactly, what comes next. Change brings anxiety for me. And I don't know if that's the same with you, but for me, it brings a lot of anxiety. And I'm working through it. And I will probably share a few things that are changing in my life in the next few weeks. So yeah, I mean, that's the topic of today. And like I said, I know a lot of people can relate to it. And I just hope that this video blesses you. And I know that I'm going to leave here blessed for sure after hearing this beautiful girl's story. Because she went through a big change last year. Huge change that a lot of people may not have gone through. I'm sure if they didn't. Well, over to you. So, can you share with us? Well, first off, can you share with us what does change mean to you? When you hear things like, okay, let's say, for example, I came to you now, Lara, and said, you know what? You're about to experience one of the biggest changes of your life. What exactly, would you be thinking? How would you approach it? What?
Well, when I hear that, I just think of a break in pattern, and a break in familiarity, and things like that. For me, I don't really get scared. I think from change, I more so have some anxious anticipation for it, like what is it going to be like. So I usually approach it with a smidgen of excitement, but there is also the obviously I really don't know how this is going to be, so how am I going to fit into this new change? And so it's a bit scary, but also maybe because I'm nosy too, I just really want to know what's happening, so I kind of have that excitement towards it.
Yeah, that's not me. That's not me at all. That's not me at all. But that's good. So can you share with us that big change that I mentioned that you went through last year, and kind of walk us through the journey, the story, walk us through it, where you were mentally, spiritually. I'm very interested because I've never heard the story. I might have heard bits and pieces, and then you ended up
just making the announcement.
Exactly, so I really want to know, how did you get there?
Yeah. So last year, I moved to St. Martin, the island of St. Martin, to start medical school. So 2020 is so for medical school, it's you apply 1 year for the next year to start the next year. So I was applying during the whole panorama and MCAT and all that stuff. So I applied August, September applications, and I applied to I think 17 schools in the US. No, not the school I went to. I ended up at. So I applied to 17 schools, and these applications are not.
I know they're expensive. 17? Oh God. Oh yeah, you were.
But it is well. It's fine. But so months go by, rejections. Really, it was some silence for some time. And then I was reaching out to schools hey, just want to reach out. Rejections. Even some, honestly, I feel there's a couple that still hasn't responded, but it's okay. So it come May. Oh, at this time also I was doing a master's program.
Okay.
And so that program was ending May of 2021.
Okay.
And so I always was from the beginning of that year, January of 2021, I was God, I really want to know where I'm going for medical school by the time I graduate in May. And so it's January, February, March, it's April.
It's May?
Yeah, it's May. And it's nothing is happening. And so obviously that's very discouraging and disappointing. But at the same time, I knew where I wanted to go. Being a doctor. I knew I wanted that,
That's your end goal.
Yeah, that's my end goal. And I knew I didn't want to do a gap year because I already, after college, 2 years of a master's, what am I going to do for another year? I'm okay. I'd rather just jump into it. So I know somebody that went to my school, the school I'm at now. So I talked to her and she was just apply there at a Caribbean school. And there's a thing, for those who don't know, there's a thing about Caribbean schools, American, America's just extra sometimes. So it's America's the best. So if you go anywhere else, it's it's not weighed as much to them. At the end of the day, it's still a medical degree, but optics, And so I didn't really want that for me, but at the same time, I know like God is placing me on this journey, right? So wherever I go, I'm gonna make it. So although it wasn't my first, like it's not an option,
right.
Even though that wasn't like my first choice, I was like, okay, I'll just do it. And then literally I applied. I think the next week I had an interview. 2 days later I was accepted.
Wow.
And so I had 2 interviews actually, but I picked this school because it's scholarship. And then but also like I had just the spirit of the interview was just a little better. So picked that school. And you know, God answered that prayer. Before I graduated my master's, I was set on going there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So now
so this is like literally like in the span of 2 weeks in May.
Yes. Yes. It was a lot. So it did really come at the same time that, you know, I'm trying to finish the master's. So I didn't really have time to really think about the fact like, girl, you about to move out the country.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I had the summer. That was my first summer off, like, since
undergrad.
Yeah. Coming into undergrad, like, because I was taking summer classes during undergrad.
Right.
So, like, from between high school and undergrad.
6 years.
Yeah. Well, 4. 6. Yeah, because the
because
master's.
4 plus 2. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So I was just living my best life all summer, seeing everybody, you know, because I had a countdown, like, to move in. So I was just trying to do everything, have fun. But then, you know, the days are ticking by. And then August comes and I'm packing things and I'm actually moving. It didn't really actually hit me for real until the day before. I had a going away party, so it kind of hit me there. But like the day before, when like I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the airport, that's when it hit me like, sis, this is real. Yeah. So it was a lot. But anyway, got there, and it was a culture shock. But we're here.
Yeah. Wow. So can you walk us through the emotions your emotions that the day you realized you were about to get on a plane, leave your family, your mom, dad, your siblings, leave your community, leave your closest friends, leave your man, and go to St. Martin?
Yeah. It was a mix of emotions. I was like ready for school. I'm like a weirdo a little bit. Like I kind of like school sometimes.
Okay.
No, I like having something to do. Okay. Let me just say that.
Okay.
So that part I wasn't like nervous about. It was the moving away and being away from everybody. That was the biggest part for me. Like I literally have lived in the same house my entire life. I went to school in New Jersey. Like I've never been anywhere lived anywhere. And so it was just like, I didn't know what to expect really. And like, I think I talked about it a little bit in the other, the one with Simi and Dami that we did. Making friends isn't my strongest asset or something. I'm not that great at it because like I'm kind of like, I just stay to myself. If you talk to me, I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to be the first one to
initiate a conversation.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, I'm going to go there and probably be in my room all day or something because like, how am I going to make friends? And so it was that, and then it was just like the comfort. I'm really like, this is you by yourself, sis. Yeah. Like I have to pay rent now.
Yeah.
Like
a whole lot of changes.
Like I actually have bills.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, so it was just like everything, and the fact that like I'm really just gonna be away from everybody. That's what I was like, I was so disheartened by. So that's what hit me in the face right. Hours before I'm trying to get on the plane. But yeah.
Okay. So you get to St. Martin.
Yeah.
Then what?
So I get to St. Martin, very different than New Jersey. My mom went with me to move in because like I had a lot of luggage, obviously. So she was there for like a few days, getting acclimated. It was a while before I felt like, honestly, it was months before I felt like I was comfortable there, and it wasn't just like somewhere I'm passing through. Because, like I said, it's very different. Little baby iguanas trying to come in my apartment. Like power outages, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, Caribbean life. Power outages, internet going down, internet slow, like all these different stuff. And it's like, I really just have to deal with it. What am I going to do? I can't call the company. The whole island is out. So what am I going to do? And so it was a lot of adjusting and just kind of just going with the flow, because a lot of it I could not control. Like, since you're here, you're in school, you have to deal with it. Like, you're not the first person to go through it. You won't be the last. So are you gonna make this be your downfall? Like, you of all people, why? You know, so I had to, like,
and you've come this far.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. So I had to tell myself that a lot. Like, there was a lot of things now, like, obviously I'm still on the island, so all these inconveniences and like things still happen, but now I have a better grip of it. Just is what it is. I can move past it. But it took a while to get there, because it's just so different than what I was used to.
Right.
Yeah. And like the first semester, I came back here twice for weddings. And so the first semester is August to December. Coming home twice is like, you gotta come home often. Yes. So, but like the next semester, I didn't. And so that's when it really hit me, like, you're coming here for a long time.
Right.
And that's when it started, like, getting, all right, now you have to just find your footing here and just go with the punches, kind of. And really, honestly, the thing I said about, like, you're not the first person, you won't be the last, I told myself that a lot. Like, because why would this situation now be the downfall of me when so many people have, like, shined here and went on to do great things? Like,
so girl, a lot of self-talk was involved. A lot of talking yourself through.
Yes, a lot. Because at the end of the day, even through those self-talks, things are still going crazy. Like, lizards are still trying to come in my apartment. Like, the internet is still down and I have to study for this final in 2 days.
And you're still, and the thing is too, the reality of it is you're still in St. Martin.
Yeah.
So it's not like anything could really be different. Like, you can't go back to New Jersey. Literally. Like, you're on this path. So, you know, I'm taking notes because, like I said, I'm going through some changes in my own personal life, and I'm just trying to figure out, how do I approach it? Like, what should my mindset be? What should, how do I literally just have that attitude of kind of like, it is what it is? Because that's kind of how, it's just not easy for me. But, so yeah, you're helping me out for sure.
But it's not like a easy thing. And it's a lot of those talks, because it's like, it's medical school, right? So it's hard. And so there's always something that's stressing you out. And so it's a constant conversation, like, bruh, this professor is really trying to try me today. Personally, he's trying me. But at the end of the day, you have to keep it, like, you don't have an option. That's what I tell myself. I don't know about anybody else, but I tell myself, you don't have an option. And sometimes it does hinder me a little bit, because I fall into the suppressing part, and then something, just a little thing happens, and then
it's like combustion.
The world is ending. Yes. Especially this last semester, it was honestly a lot of disappointment. I explained it as like being overwhelmed with disappointment, and I had to have a lot of those talks, a lot of prayers, a lot of communicating with, you know, friends and mans and everybody about what was happening. But at the end of the day, people can only help so much, right? Conversations with people, it's like, and I'm literally there alone. Like, so it's just me, my thoughts, and it's God. And so it's a lot of those self-talks and prayers, and just reminders of his promises, reminders of, girl, you can get through this. It's okay. It's not how you want it to be, but like I said in the beginning, I'm going to get there. I'm going to be a doctor. Like, it's not an option. It's going to happen. And so feel these feels, be disappointed, but then let's see what we could do next. And this semester especially taught me that. I know before I came to medical school, everybody say, you know, you need to know how to study, you need to know how to adjust, But like, this semester actually taught me that, because when I would change things, it still wouldn't work. and I'll change something else and it still wouldn't work. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, I have to do it.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust.
You just have to do it.
Yeah.
You brought up something, just prayer, talking to God, and my next question was going to be like, how was your spiritual life through this entire ordeal? Because I found myself, I want to say last week, literally crying out to God, and I was like, Lord, I am going to need you like I've never needed you this next stage of my life. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Like I just, and it's not because I need him to do anything for me. Like I literally need him as my friend. Mm-hmm. And like companion, because I'm going through a lot of changes. One of them being a new job. And people might look at me and be like, you're being so dramatic. No, I'm not. Because I've been at my current job for such a long time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm entering a new job with more responsibilities, just more everything on every level. And, I don't want to disappoint this new organization, because I have the fear that they're going to be like, why do we even hire her? I don't know why I have that fear. Oh my God. But I have that fear. And so I'm just like, Lord, I'm going to need you like never before. Like school's getting crazier. Just like I said, different things, different changes going on in my life. And so I'm just curious to know, like, how was your spiritual life in this entire, ordeal? Because we need God. Mm-hmm. Like, especially when we go through changes in our lives, like big changes, mm-hmm. you can't do it by yourself. Yeah. Like, I've tried. It's physically not possible. Like, mm-hmm. you need him, you need his grace, you need his strength, you need, even, I'm sure, like, for me, I like to talk to God while I'm driving. You need him. So yeah, let us know. Like, let me know, how was your spiritual life in this entire process?
Yeah, it was like this, like that. I know. Yeah, like that. And something, I didn't actually I wasn't able to really put words into it until literally 2 days ago when I was kind of asked about this. I know people usually say, like, when something is wrong, that's when people usually go to God. I was kind of the opposite. When everything was like, everything's cool, calm, and collect, that's when I'm like on it. I'm watching my sermons. I'm mm-hmm. having quiet time. I'm doing all that type of stuff. But when things are like I said this past semester, like just disappointment after disappointment, I tend, and I've noticed that about myself for quite some time, I tend to just go into solitude kind of a thing. And that's from everything and everyone, and including God. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I just am like consumed with my feelings and with like the disappointment and sadness. And eventually, like, I remind myself, or really God uses people to remind me of him and the fact that, like, this is going on, but he's still here. Like, he hasn't left you, that kind of a thing. And then also I went to, at my school, they have like the Christian medical organization or somebody, they have services every Sunday. Okay. And so he would use, somebody there or the sermon to, speak to me. Mm-hmm. And so that would kind of start getting me out of that solitude and distance mm-hmm. and stuff. But it's been hard, really, mm-hmm. especially when things are just going like, bruh, crazy. It's like, I don't know, my mind is just so consumed with all the bad things that are happening. Right. And it just takes, a person or just a reminder, just God using something to remind me of, like, don't forget, like, there's still, his promises aren't failing, just because it's not, looking like how you thought it would look, Mm-hmm. So that's honestly what it's been for me.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Change is scary. Yeah. It really is. It's one of those things where, it happens to all of us. We all go mm-hmm. through it. 1 minute you're in med school, the next minute you're married with 5 kids. I don't know if you all have kids, but you know, even my kids going to a new school, that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something that we're constantly in
Yeah.
all the time. And it's interesting. Let me read this. I found something that grabbed my attention on how to easily adapt to life changes. And I was reading it and I'm like, yeah, this is a word. So the first one was change your attitude. Change your attitude about something you currently don't like. This can be about something in your career, relationships, self-perception, because really change, like I said, can happen in many different forms. It can happen in relationships. One minute you're with someone, the next minute you're not with somebody. Or, you know, one minute you are, you know, outside single, and then the next minute you're inside, boot up, you know, Netflix and chill. So that's change. It really is, you know. Even like self-perception, when I read that part, I'm like, that's so true. Like, a lot of us have to change the way we even think about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, forget even, like, we're talking about like school, changing location, okay, change of a job, you know, whatever change else I'm going through, like with school and stuff. But like, even changing the way you think about yourself, changing the way you think about somebody else, changing the way you speak. I realize that I have to work on that. I tend to start off negative, and I'm like, no, like, start off positive, right? So definitely changing your attitude. And it says here, everything happens for a reason, and there's always a lesson to be learned. So what lesson, before I read the rest of them, because this is just the first point about how to like adapt to seasons of life. What lesson do you think you've learned with you moving to St. Martin? Has there been a lesson?
I think I've learned more about myself in that, like I said, I've never lived anywhere else but home. So having to kind of just build a life there. I've learned some character traits that I, like you said, about the negative thing. I said a lot about the island, and you know, pleasant stuff. And I found during when I was there, I complained about a lot of things, and things like the heat, or you know, internet or stuff, or even the school doing like
what schools do.
And like you said, how you think about yourself, thinking about your situation, people, that I found that it really affected my day to day, like how I even move throughout the days. When like I'm so focused on this school is really doing what they're doing doesn't make sense. This is crazy. Like, it really takes away from what I can even accomplish throughout that day, because I'm so stuck in like, bro, these people, and I'm not even like, you know what? That very much be
what's going on. That could be the reality of it, right?
But at the end of the day, this is my journey. This is my walk. So let me just focus on what I'm doing.
Change your attitude.
Changing my attitude. Yeah. I realized my attitude is it can use some work.
Yeah,
can use some work.
Too.
Yeah, because it really affects it affects everything that I'm trying to do. And also, so I'm the youngest, right? And so I realized being there that like, sis, you gotta grow up. And then being turning 25 there, I'm like, bro, that's like a real age. Yeah. Like kind of adult.
Like a legit age,
yeah, like I'm about to be off the insurance in a few months. Like that kind of a thing. And there's some things in me like that, just areas that I can mature. And I think being there and having a lot of time to myself and just being with a lot of different personalities, different backgrounds and things, I see how people react to things and how I react to things. And then later on, I think you probably could have handled that differently. Like it probably didn't warrant that kind of response, those kind of things. So I definitely see areas of growth that I need to, it kind of pretty much showed me where I need to grow, really.
Especially since you're coming from being the youngest.
Yeah.
Being the baby.
Being
home.
Yeah.
You know, being loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that you will go out there and not everybody's going to like you.
Yeah.
Like, we love you.
Ain't that crazy?
But you will not be loved by everyone. And that is okay. So yeah, that definitely proves that first point right, that changing your attitude.
Yeah.
So the second point was gain perspective. And it says change forces us to examine our lives, to pause and gain perspective. Life is filled with many gains, changes, shifts, losses, and transitions. They may have a huge impact or none at all. You are adaptable. Which is true. I think you've already kind of given us the perfect example. Like, you know, you going to St. Martin, you're adaptable. Yes, you might not have liked, you know, what came with it, right? Whether the emotions that came with it, you know, being homesick, but you just have to adapt. Kind of like that's what you said earlier, like kind of like it is really what it is, you know? You can complain from morning till night. It's really not going to change your location.
Right.
You are where you are, sis.
Yeah.
And we will see you at graduation. You know, like that's ultimately it. The third thing was be flexible when embracing change. Nothing is set in stone. It's true. Not everything lasts forever. Love, friendships, marriage, finances. These can all change at any point in time, for better or for worse. Appreciate what you have when you have it. You never know. A new promise of forever might come your way. And that's true. I mean, we're talking about school and things like that, but change can come in many different forms, you know, love, friendship, marriage, finances. Ooh. I've already put on my to-do list that I'm going to have an episode about finances.
I need that.
So, but yeah, change can come in many different forms. And so being flexible and learning how to embrace it is so important. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about really quickly before we wrap up is be your own best friend. I really like that. And it says, you may think you have that one friend, partner, or family member that you can rely on no matter what. That is great. However, people are capable of letting you down. Take responsibility for how you deal with changes. Rely on yourself. You control your behavior, your decisions, your actions. I'm like, yeah, that is a word. I mean, that's what I read, that I was like, that is so true, that a lot of us run to people when we are going through some sort of change. But it's also important to know that the person you might be running to may have never experienced what you're experiencing. And even if they have experienced it, everybody's story is unique.
Yeah.
Everybody's story is different. You said here that somebody you know also went to the school you went to. But I'm sure if I sat you down and I sat this individual down, your stories would still be different.
Yeah.
The way you handle things will be so different. The way you see things, your emotional response to it, different. Your mental response to it, different. Your spiritual response to it, completely different. So it's important that, yes, I am a firm believer that nobody's an island. Community, you need people. But at the end of the day, the very end of the day, you have to rely on yourself. I mean, when I read that, I'm like, that is really, really true. It's true. I mean, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
I feel like I agree completely. I have friends and people around me that have been really supportive throughout this time. But a lot of times, you know, people are busy and, like, you know, people have lives. And so I'm not talking to people all the time. And so I've had a lot of alone time and me time. And I've realized that I have a lot of thoughts. There's a lot inside here. And so I can appreciate the fact that I've had time to really get to know more of myself and get to understand more of myself with the time that I've had alone, because it answers my own questions of why am I like this, or why can't I stop doing this thing I've been trying to stop for years, like having that intimate time with myself. And obviously the Holy Spirit just allows me to really be solid in who I am. So, like you said, community is great. It's necessary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no one's going to know me
better than you.
Exactly. But that's not going to happen if I don't spend no time with myself or get to know me,
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And then, sometimes we're so quick to run to somebody.
Yeah.
So quick. But at times, I think what is really needed is just a lot of like alone time, really just spending time with yourself. And for me, hearing your story, I think even this move, that you experienced last year, I think it's going to help you in the long run. Even forget even school, even who you are as a person, your character, your mindset. It's going to teach you that you are resilient. It's going to teach you that you literally can do whatever you put your mind to. I know I'm speaking for you, but I see it, right? And so I think it's going to teach you, it's already teaching you maturity and how to handle situations. And yeah, I think, for me, even sitting here and listening to your story, it's encouraging me to just literally accept change with open arms, because change is constant.
Yeah.
It's always happening. So yeah, I think you dropped some good gems.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I think your story is really powerful. I think, people might, you hear things like this and like, oh, well, all she did was just move to St. Martin. But no, she literally kind of just like picked up her life,
Yeah.
got on the plane and said, Lord, do as you wish, really, and that's the ultimate for me. Like that's the ultimate practical way to look at like faith and trusting God, because some people would not have even applied to St. Martin. I wouldn't. It's like, no, God, I'm staying in the United States. I'm not even going to apply. But the fact that you applied, it means that, you know what? It was like, Lord, I have faith. And I embrace this change. I embrace this newness. I embrace, all that's coming my way with open arms.
And can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
With change, in my case and in all cases, I believe, you change with the change. And I've seen how I've changed so far, and I know I'm still there for quite some time. I know I'm going to change more. And the people who know me, who haven't been privy to the whole process of me changing, they're not used to the new. They're not used to the new, and it could get like waters can get a little rocky when it's like you like, why are you doing this? And it's like, this is me. Have
you experienced that?
I have.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, I feel like that's not my responsibility to go back to the person I was to make you understand what's going on or you comfortable. Yeah. People, I think at some point people catch up, but
at some point they might not.
And that's why
friendships also change.
Yeah.
The expectation of a friendship will change. Yeah. The bond of a friendship will change. I mean, you brought up a great point.
Yeah. So I think with approaching change, I think it's important to be aware that you will change, and not everybody will understand, maybe immediately or maybe never, but being okay with that, because at the end of the day, God put you there. God knew what, how that would affect you. So it's for a purpose. So that's just one of the things you have to take with the change. Yeah.
Have any of your relationships with people changed, like in a negative way because of who you are now evolving into?
I think people are not used to me having as much as an opinion. And it could be part of the age growing up too. But I think people are not used to that because that's not who I've been in the past. Growing up, I talked about in the other one, quiet, I've had a lot of thoughts, but I kept it to myself, and opinions and stuff. And it's like recent years that I've, been getting more vocal and bold stuff. Yeah. And then this past year, I feel like just more, I know more of who I am. And so if I have an opinion,
you're going to say it.
Yes. My opinion.
Yes.
And like some people are not used to that. And so it's been
rocky.
It's been a little rocky, but I know at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to revert. So at the end of the day, God will make something. He makes all things beautiful.
Yes, he does. So
it might take some time, and I've been trying to come to grips with the fact that things might take time, which is like, but it is
what it is. As long as you know that you are evolving into a better version of Lara, the best version, better version, people will have to catch up.
Yeah.
You brought up an amazing point, and I'm sure we could probably talk about that even a lot more. But ultimately, people just need to catch up. I'm telling you. Thank you, Lara, girl. That was a good point. That was a great point. Yeah. All right, so any last minute, anything you want to say to end off this beautiful conversation, anything that you want to say to anybody, if it's med school students that are, on that track or trying to be on that track, if it's the other females, whatever God is laying in your heart to share. But before you share, I just want to say that I love the woman that you're becoming. I don't want to get emotional, honestly, but I love the woman that you're becoming. I love the growth that I've seen. Even the YouTube, she has a YouTube video, YouTube channel, excuse me. So we will be, pubbing that. Follow her. But I really, the growth, the maturity, the beauty that, you're beautiful, like, physically, but even the beauty that radiates even internally, that I love it. I love it, and I just want to encourage you to keep on going, stay focused. You are making a lot of people proud. I personally know that God separated you at this time for a reason. And we might not know the reason right now, but I know that when he does reveal that reason, and when you look back, everything will make sense. So I'm super proud of you, super proud of you. And I'm in your corner, rooting for you, girl. I've said it time and time again, and I'll continue saying it, that you have my full support.
Thank you.
So any last minute things you would like to say?
Yeah, I guess I would just say, changes can be hard and uncomfortable, but I feel like if you just go into it with the belief that, like we've been saying, with the belief that it will work out, everything will work out, and it's all for the greater good, at the end of the day, you'll be good. It's gonna be hard, and I wouldn't suggest suppressing too much, like, and trying to ignore, the painful things that might occur or the disappointing things that might occur. You can feel those feelings, but don't let that hinder you from taking the next step that's necessary to get to where you're going. And really, even especially in those moments, realize that God hasn't left you, and he won't leave you. And, just even having a small prayer with God, or, listening to a worship song or sermon, whatever, it might not change the situation immediately, but it'll give you the strength to keep going, to take that next step, so that you can get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah. So the best. mean, there's nothing to add. There's nothing to add, take away. It was perfect. So I hope you all were blessed. And yeah, leave comments. Let us know, are you going through a change in your life right now? Whether it be a relationship change, a career change, a change on your mindset, like how you see things. Is it changing finances? I mean, my prayer for changing finances is that it's just only going to increase. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the kind of change I'm praying for all of us, right? Increase in our finances. But yeah, whatever it is, share it with us. Like I said before, follow her on YouTube. She really talks about her journey in med school in the island, and you have other things too that you kind of talk about as well, but the majority of it definitely is your med school journey. And I know that even that will evolve, right? Because right now it's medicine, but she clearly knows how to beat a face too, so you never know, she could start doing makeup, whatever it is, so just follow her, support her, continue to keep her in your prayers. Med school, it ain't easy. I'm not speaking from experience, so I just, from what I've heard, the horror stories that I've heard, it ain't easy. So yeah, wishing you all a wonderful week ahead. Praying that whatever your heart desires are, I'm praying that God meets all of them according to His will for your life. I'm praying for favor. I'm praying for increase. I'm praying for peace for all of you. I'm praying for joy. I'm praying that you meet helpers of joy, people that will help you in every area of your life, whatever it might be. You meet those people. And I'm just praying that, as you go into this season of your life, this season of change, that God will surely hold you by the hand and give you the strength and the grace that you need to make it to the other side. Thank you so much once again for joining me on KepTalk, and I will see you in the next video.